it is time for Business Matters. Today we've got Don Mott. Don, long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It feels like longer than a week, but I'm back now, and I'm going to start off with an update on rockets.
All right.
So Blue Origin says it's working to reschedule the launch of its 30-story New Glenn rocket. That's after technical problems caused it to cancel an attempt planned for early this morning. The company says it needs to troubleshoot a vehicle subsystem issue. Amazon's Jeff Bezos is Blue Origin's founder. New Glenn is the first rocket it aims to someday be able to send satellites into orbit. And the fallout from the failed Nippon Steel deal has reached the upper levels of diplomacy. Japan says its prime minister has asked President Biden to address concerns about the future of U.S.-Japan business relations. Japan's foreign ministry said Prime Minister Ishiba spoke to Biden about the deal during an online meeting. It said Ishiba told Biden it's important to ensure companies can invest with peace of mind. Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel said the Biden administration has delayed its order for Nippon to end its nearly $15 billion bid until June. And the artificial intelligence industry is pushing back on proposed AI chip exporting rules. The Biden administration has unveiled a new framework for exporting advanced computer chips used to develop artificial intelligence. The government says this is an attempt to balance national security fears with economic interests. Industry groups have criticized the proposal as rushed and have warned that this could fragment global supply chains and put U.S. companies at a disadvantage. Under the framework, about 20 key allies and partners would have no restrictions on chips, but others would face caps on chip imports. Meanwhile, Cybertrucks have joined the recovery efforts in California's devastating wildfires. Tesla's CEO Elon Musk arrived in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood in LA yesterday with 8 Cybertrucks. In a post on X, Tesla said its trucks are equipped with Starlink internet service, mobile electric vehicle charging stations, and portable batteries. Musk said the Cybertrucks will be positioned through the areas with the most in need in the greater LA Malibu area. Musk also noted that some of the trucks were originally meant for customers, but their truck deliveries would now be delayed to the end of the week. And Apple is the latest company assessing its diversity programs. Conservative think tank National Center for Public Policy Research wants the company to end its DEI efforts. It says the policies expose firms to litigation, reputational, and financial risks. Shareholders will vote on a proposal to end diversity programs during a general meeting at the end of next month. In a notice to shareholders, Apple is calling on its board to vote against the proposal. It says the company has the right compliance procedures in place to address any risks. Firms that have recently scrapped DEI initiatives include Meta, Amazon, McDonald's, and Walmart. Speaker maker Sono CEO Patrick Spence is stepping down, effective immediately. And this comes after a disastrous app update last year, which sparked customer criticism and delayed development and release of other products. The new app was plagued with significant issues, like users not being able to perform essential functions. The company said it would cost up to $30 million to fix the issues and was forced to cut staff. Its shares dipped 12% last year. The company named board member Tom Conrad as interim CEO. The Verge is reporting that Conrad has already shared his first note to employees and said he'll be in the office daily to re-energize them. President-elect Trump has been vocal about energy policy. It affects how much people pay for everything and impacts the economy as a whole. Here's the story.
We will drill, baby, drill.
President-elect Trump has vocally supported fossil fuels throughout his campaign, saying pro-fossil fuel policies will bring down energy costs.
They'll be brought down to a very low level, and that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up, along with the ridiculous spending on the Green New scam.
Analysts expect Trump to expand oil and gas drilling, fast-track permits for energy projects, and even withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
In order for our industry to be protected, we might not be able to follow what they want us to do.
Energy expert Linnea Lucan says this is likely to bring down energy prices. The Paris Climate Accord is an international treaty adopted in 2015 to lower greenhouse gas emissions. Then President Barack Obama joined in 2016. Then Trump pulled out during his first term. Then President Biden rejoined in 2021. Now Trump has signaled he will leave it again.
The best case scenario would be if we went through that Senate denial of the treaty. We're either getting into it or exiting it. And so our industries don't know how to necessarily react to that. So I think it'll help with stability.
Lucan says oil prices are high and volatile, largely because of this instability. She says another exit, along with a pro-fossil fuel attitude, will encourage more energy projects in the future. The Biden administration says the Paris Climate Agreement helps to avoid what it calls catastrophic planetary warming.
And Kim Kardashian is asking California's governor to raise the pay of incarcerated firefighters. The reality star turned law student says the men and women are putting their lives on the line and deserve more than $5 to $10 per hour they're currently earning for their work. She went on to thank her, quote, heroes for saving her own neighborhood during the fires. As of Friday, nearly 1,000 inmates were serving. T-Mobile is boosting its advertising business with a $600 million acquisition. The telecom company announced that it's acquiring V-Star Media. This is a real-time outdoor advertising technology provider. Brands are transitioning from static billboards to more creative and engaging digital screens. The all-cash deal will strengthen T-Mobile's advertising, particularly in the digital out-of-home advertising market. T-Mobile will acquire all of V-Star's media's marketplace and technology solutions for buying, selling, and managing media campaigns across more than 1 million digital screens. Kohls is closing 27 stores across more than a dozen states as it looks to improve profitability. The closures are expected to be completed by April. They are a small fraction of the struggling retailers, more than 1,100 stores, and were listed as underperforming. The move is one of the last decisions by outgoing CEO Tom Kingsbury, who is stepping down Wednesday. He's being replaced next week by Ashley Buchanan, Chief Executive of Arts and Crafts chain Michaels. New import and export data demonstrates just how much China is relying on exports to boost its economy. Compared to last year, Chinese exports in December jumped 10.7%. Beating expectations. That means trade is set to account for about a fifth of China's expected 5-year growth this term. 5% growth, that is, this year. China has been relying on foreign businesses to buy manufactured goods as it continues to deal with a prolonged real estate slump and weak consumer spending at home. And this puts China's economy in a vulnerable position as President-elect Trump pledged to hike tariffs on Chinese imports up to 60%. Foreign automakers are on a downhill slope in the world's largest car market. Porsche and BMW are the latest car makers to report sales slumps in China. German sports car maker Porsche reported a 28% tumble last year, and BMW 13%. Porsche is citing a, quote, continued challenging economic situation as Chinese consumers pull back on spending amid a sustained real estate crisis. Foreign car makers are also facing increased local competition. BYD and Xiaomi offer tech electric vehicles at a very affordable price, and BYD has released several luxury cars. Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Toyota, Honda, and GM have all reported hits in the China market. Meanwhile, an exit interview with FBI Director Christopher Wray aired yesterday on 60 Minutes. Wray highlighted China's growing danger to the United States as the defining threat of this generation. He revealed China's cyber program has stolen more data from the U.S. than any other nation. Wray says China has also infiltrated critical infrastructure like water treatment and communication systems. The FBI director also warned about new terrorism threats emerging globally. He mentioned a recent plot by a Pakistani national targeting a Jewish center in New York. As terror threats evolve, Wray stressed the urgency of addressing these issues before they hit closer to home. And the Supreme Court is considering legislation to ban TikTok from the U.S. market, which could take effect on January 19th. How do everyday Americans feel about this case? NTD Sam Wang was outside the Supreme Court to hear from people.
I'm for it. I work with a lot of teenagers, and I see some of the devastating effects of social media on some of them.
I own a small business, and 98% of my sales come because people find me on TikTok, and so the idea that this app may be getting banned is terrifying.
I don't like it. I mean, obviously people are making money on it, and there's also First Amendment.
I don't think TikTok is good for anybody. You scroll on it mindlessly for hours, and it's just eating over you and taking over your brain.
I have never signed up for TikTok because I knew that there were concerns previously, so I stick to other social media platforms because of that.
Free speech is a big part of this case, and that's definitely part of the decision that's being made. But I want to say that national security does trump First Amendment speech rights in this case.
There are potential threats out there, and I think we need to understand what national security issues there could be, and I think it's just something that we need to pay attention to.
We need broader laws that cover all social media platforms to protect everyone, not going through and banning one singular platform.
Are you open to a divestiture instead of a ban on national security grounds?
TikTok's not going to sell. They're not going to sell, and so what this is truly targeting is a ban of the app.
If another company was to purchase TikTok, then the same content would be able to be shared with Americans. So I personally don't think it's really a First Amendment concern.
Are you concerned that China potentially have some level of access to your personal data?
There is some separation in terms of ByteDance being a private company, but it's still not clear what level that the Chinese government has, and I think that that does pose some concerns.
I don't feel comfortable with everybody knowing what I'm doing, and everybody having access to my things. That's why I don't have TikTok.
I think that national security is more important than anything, and so I think that they need to work that out before they continue with this platform.
Well, obviously we trust our elected officials to protect us digitally and physically.
Beyonces Foundation will donate $2.5 million to wildfire relief in California. The Bay Good Foundation said in an Instagram post it will make the donation to the LA Fire Relief Fund, and this is to assist families impacted by the wildfires. It also wants to make sure funds go to churches and other community organizations. Bay Good was established in 2013 to help with economic disparities within communities. And former UFC champion Kabib Nurmagomedov was asked to deplane a Frontier Airlines jet after a disagreement over him sitting in a seat near an emergency exit. A video of some of the interaction between the champ and a flight attendant was shared on social media. In a statement, the airline said staff asked Nurmagomedov if he could assist in an emergency, but that he did not respond. Nurmagomedov was eventually escorted off the flight. In an ex-post, the champ said he felt he was treated unfairly, but doesn't know why. He was undefeated rather, when he retired from the UFC in 2020. And NTD made a visit to Detroit, Michigan Auto Show. Ford showed off some of its best sellers, and NTD got to speak with Ford reps about the F-Series. Take a look.
Ford Motor Company kicked off the Detroit Auto Show on Thursday night by showing off a special edition Mustang sports car. Ford says the 2025 Mustang GTD can achieve a top speed of 202 miles per hour, the most of any street-legal Mustang ever. The show floor was buzzing with energy as NTD got a sneak peek at this year's exhibit and spoke with the Ford vehicle representatives about the F-Series.
Trucks in general, for the F-Series, we just achieved 48 years of truck leadership, and the F-Series has been the best-selling truck for the best-selling vehicle for 43 years. So it was a tremendous accomplishment, and we're super proud and grateful to our customers.
All the F-150s are either gas hybrid or the F-150 Lightning is all electric. Ford says a huge focus is choice for customers.
So this is a great off-roading vehicle. Tons of capability. Comes standard with a 5-liter V8 that can tow up to 12,900 pounds. So whether you're hauling a trailer for work or your boat or snowmobiles, whatever it may be, the F-150 Tremor rises to the occasion.
Due to the lessening demand in all-electric vehicles, Ford recently slowed down on F-150 Lightning production in favor of profitable internal combustion engines. Despite that, Ford's Mustang Mach-E, F-150 Lightning, and E-Transit all set new sales records last year.
But not everyone is able to purchase an electric vehicle. They might live in an apartment. They might live in an area without easy access to charging, or they can't install a charger at home. And for those customers, we're giving them other choices. We're continuing to make sure that if they want something that's fuel efficient, they could have, for example, a plug-in hybrid Escape. That gives you the best of both worlds.
2025 also brings an official name change from the North American International Auto Show to simply the Detroit Auto Show. It's a move organizers hope will remind the world that the Motor City is alive and well in the auto industry.
Our industry is in the midst of a disruption, but one thing remains true. Great products always win. And Detroit can compete with anyone.
Ford, Toyota, and nearly 30 other brands will be on display in Detroit's Huntington Place for the 11-day event.
And quickly before we go here onto markets, the Nasdaq today fell while the S&P 500 eked out a slight gain today, and this is as U.S. Treasury yields stayed elevated with investors dialing back expectations on the pace of rate cuts from the U.S. Central Bank. Now, recent economic data have pressured equities and potentially indicating a resilient economy with nagging price pressures. And promised tariffs from President-elect Donald Trump have also fueled worries about inflation. And speaking of which, the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, numbers and the central bank's beige book on economic activity are both due on Wednesday this week. All right, with that, everything on Business Matters. Back to you.
You know, Don, I've been reporting on this fire these fires rather, down in California all day and really over the past week. And you know, what always really stands out to me when we report on these natural disasters is the way everyone comes together. You know, whether it's, you just reported there, Kim Kardashian, Beyonce, these megastars coming out in support. We also saw, you know, earlier reports, just everyday people gathering together to help each other. Even Canada and Mexico sending firefighters and equipment. It's just always so touching to see.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And we were talking to an analyst earlier in the day about this fire. And, you know, he says it's really important that people help each other when he said there were some shortcomings potentially that the government has not helped enough, or, you know, different reasons. But, you know, people coming together, volunteering, giving others in need with all sorts of aid. It just goes to show that, you know, some people have said on different platforms, whether it's online, that they've lost faith in humanity. But this event just goes to show that when the cards are down, people do in fact come out to help each other, and potentially, you know, it restores a bit of that faith in humanity, seeing everything that's happening.
Absolutely, and I think there's a lot to be learned from that. Don, thank you as always. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.